Imagine being told that the majority of Australians and international visitors repeatedly crowd into the same dozen heavily marketed beaches. They pay inflated accommodation prices in places like Byron Bay, where social media influencers seem to outnumber longtime residents. They struggle to find parking at Bondi Beach, where the small patch of sand available for a towel is measured in centimeters rather than meters. Others put up with the towering high-rises of the Gold Coast, where scenic ocean views often come bundled with traffic noise and the uncomfortable realization that the experience costs 3 times more than it should. Yet scattered along Australia's immense coastline are towns of astonishing beauty, places that are peaceful, affordable, and largely undiscovered. Many locals quietly hope these destinations remain hidden, because once travel blogs and Instagram algorithms spotlight them, the affordability disappears, the tranquility fades, and another secret paradise turns into an overpriced tourist hotspot. These communities truly exist, coastal towns where the scenery rivals Australia's famous beaches, yet living by the sea remains realistic rather than an unattainable dream. The journey begins with Robe, located along South Australia's dramatic limestone coast roughly 337 kilometers southeast of Adelaide. With a population of around 1,500 people, Robe possesses beaches so breathtaking that residents become uneasy whenever travel media begins to notice them. The charm of this small coastal town depends heavily on staying under the radar. Even though its scenery easily rivals well-known seaside destinations in Queensland and New South Wales, Robe's shoreline is remarkable. Long Beach stretches for nearly 15 kilometers, offering pristine white sand and brilliant turquoise water. Striking rock formations to the coastline, forming sheltered swimming spots, and adding visual drama to the landscape. Even during the height of summer, the beach remains mostly empty because many travelers simply do not know Robe exists. Beyond Long Beach, the town also features Little Beach, a calm and protected area perfect for families, as well as numerous smaller coves and beaches nearby. This variety gives Robe an advantage over many single beach destinations. Its relative anonymity stems largely from geography. Robe is not located on the direct route to any major tourist attraction, meaning casual visitors rarely stumble upon it. The drive from Adelaide takes about 3.5 hours through farmland, and unless travelers deliberately explore the limestone coast or choose the coastal road between Adelaide and Melbourne, they are unlikely to discover it by chance. Ironically, that isolation has preserved the town's character and protected it from the mass tourism development that transformed many other coastal communities. Property prices in Robe typically range from about $300,000 to $600,000. While not extremely cheap for a regional town, these figures represent remarkable value for homes close to the beach when compared with places such as Byron Bay, Noosa, or the Gold Coast, where similar properties can cost between $1.5 million and $3 million. In Robe, a house within walking distance of Long Beach may sell for $400,000 to $500,000, making the dream of seaside living genuinely attainable. The town also offers solid amenities, including supermarkets, a medical center, cafes, restaurants, a bakery, and a pharmacy. There are schools, a library, and community facilities, meaning Robe functions as a real hometown rather than just a holiday destination. The climate is temperate and coastal, providing mild temperatures throughout the year. Summers are warm but moderated by ocean breezes, while winters remain cool without becoming harsh. Such conditions allow residents to enjoy the beach year-round. Robe's lifestyle reflects its working maritime heritage. A local fishing fleet operates from the town, and seafood processing forms part of the economy alongside tourism. Restaurants and pubs serve locally caught seafood, and the community celebrates its maritime traditions. The result is an authentic coastal atmosphere where fishing culture is genuine rather than staged for tourists. Long Beach remains the main attraction, pristine, spacious, and peaceful, offering the kind of coastal experience that many famous beaches once provided before development overwhelmed them. Residents worry that widespread publicity could change everything. If travel media begins promoting Robe as the next Byron Bay, investors may buy homes for short-term rentals, large hotels could appear, and prices would rise rapidly. The authentic character might then be replaced by infrastructure designed primarily to extract money from tourists. Locals have witnessed that pattern in other towns, and Hope Robe avoids the same fate. Another little-known destination is Port Macdonald, situated about 28 kilometers south of Mount Gambier along South Australia's southeastern coast. With a population close to 800 people, this town offers dramatic coastal scenery and remarkably low property prices, largely because few people outside the region are aware of it. The coastline features striking cliffs, pristine water, and white sand beaches. Nearby stands the historic Cape Northumberland Lighthouse, perched on a rocky promontory overlooking the Southern Ocean. The surrounding landscape, limestone cliffs meeting powerful ocean waves, creates scenery comparable to the famous Great Ocean Road, yet without the crowds or heavy commercialization. Housing prices here range from around $150,000 to $350,000, making Port Macdonald one of the most affordable seaside towns in the country. A house within walking distance of the beach might cost between $200,000 and $250,000, while beachfront homes with ocean views often sell for $300,000 to $400,000. These prices allow middle-class Australians to realistically consider retiring or relocating to the coast. The town remains inexpensive mainly because of its isolation and limited employment opportunities. It lies roughly 4.5 hours from Adelaide and about 30 minutes from Mount Gambier, meaning most visitors never pass through unless they deliberately seek it out. Despite its small size, Port Macdonald has essential services such as a general store and a pub. Larger shopping and medical facilities are available in Mount Gambier, which is close enough to make daily life practical. Fishing defines the local economy. The Southern Rock Lobster Fleet operates from the port, and seafood served in local pubs is freshly caught rather than imported. The beaches remain almost empty, even in summer, giving visitors the rare experience of having long stretches of pristine coastline nearly to themselves. Moving westward across the country reveals Dongara and Port Denison on Western Australia's Midwest coast, about 360 kilometers north of Perth. Together, these neighboring towns house around 3,500 residents and feature beaches of white sand and turquoise water that rival any in the nation. Yet outside Western Australia, few people recognize their names. The coastline is stunning, with Denison Beach stretching for kilometers and offering consistent surf and crystal-clear water. The area provides several beaches catering to different activities, including family swimming spots, surf breaks, and excellent fishing locations. Homes in Dongara and Port Denison typically sell between $250,000 and $500,000. Properties within walking distance of the beach commonly fall between $300,000 and $400,000, prices that make coastal living possible for ordinary working families. The towns remain relatively unknown because they occupy a curious position on the tourism map, too far from Perth for casual day trips, yet not quite distant enough to be a major travel destination. As a result, many tourists simply drive through on their way to Geraldton or further north. Despite their quiet reputation, the towns have good infrastructure, including supermarkets, cafes, medical facilities, and local businesses. Fishing and a grain port provide employment beyond tourism, creating a stable working community. The climate follows a Mediterranean pattern with hot, dry summers and mild winters, allowing year-round beach activities. The combination of authentic industry, coastal beauty, and modest property prices makes Dongara and Port Denison both practical and picturesque places to live. On Australia's east coast lies Greenwell Point, a tiny village on the Shoalhaven River in New South Wales, about 190 kilometers south of Sydney. With a population of only around 250 residents, it enjoys both riverfront and ocean access. Nearby Jervis Bay attracts most of the tourists, especially to the famous Hyams Beach, leaving Greenwell Point relatively overlooked despite its equally beautiful surroundings. The peninsula location means residents can choose between calm river beaches and open ocean beaches with clear water and white sand. Housing prices range from about $400,000 to $700,000, more expensive than some remote towns, but still far cheaper than nearby Jervis Bay, where similar homes often sell for $1 million to $2 million. Greenwell Point maintains its affordability partly because it remains a working oyster farming village. Oyster farms along the Shoalhaven River support a real maritime economy, giving the community a character distinct from nearby tourist resorts. Farther north in Queensland sits Serena Beach, about 20 minutes south of Mackay. With a population near 1,200, this town offers tropical beach living at dramatically lower prices than places like Cairns or the Gold Coast. Long sandy beaches lined with palm trees stretch along warm waters that remain swimmable most of the year. Houses here generally cost between $300,000 and $500,000, with properties close to the shore selling for roughly $350,000 to $450,000. Serena Beach stays affordable because it sits near sugarcane farms and coal export infrastructure rather than glamorous resorts. While tourists head toward the Whitsundays or Cairns, locals enjoy a quieter coastal lifestyle. The nearby mining and port industries provide employment opportunities, meaning residents can earn strong incomes while paying relatively modest housing costs. Another overlooked destination is Wallaroo on South Australia's Yorke Peninsula, roughly 160 kilometers northwest of Adelaide. Home to around 4,000 people, Wallaroo blends beautiful beaches with a rich copper mining heritage. Town Beach, North Beach, and several nearby coves provide clear water and excellent swimming. Property prices between $200,000 and $400,000 make Wallaroo one of the more affordable seaside towns near a major city. In Queensland, the neighboring communities of Agnes Water and the town of 1770 sit about 500 kilometers north of Brisbane. These small towns, together housing about 3,000 residents, are known for being the northernmost surf beach in Queensland and a gateway to the southern section of the Great Barrier Reef. Agnes Water provides consistent surf, while 1770 offers calm, sheltered waters ideal for families. Homes range between $400,000 and $700,000, considerably cheaper than similar properties in Cairns or the Whitsundays. Across the Bay Strait, the town of Penguin sits on Tasmania's north coast about 20 kilometers west of Burnie. With roughly 4,000 residents, Penguin combines charming seaside scenery with a temperate climate. The area is known for its nightly penguin sightings, where small colonies return to shore at dusk. Houses with ocean views typically cost between $300,000 and $400,000, far less than comparable properties in Hobart. Ceduna, located on South Australia's Eyre Peninsula roughly 770 kilometers northwest of Adelaide, offers some of the most dramatic coastline in the country. Situated near the meeting point of the peninsula and the Great Australian Bight, Ceduna features turquoise water, rugged cliffs, and pristine beaches such as Denial Bay and Laura Bay. Property prices here range from $150,000 to $350,000, making beachfront living surprisingly affordable for those willing to embrace the region's remoteness. Finally, Jurien Bay on Western Australia's Midwest coast stands out as perhaps the most remarkable hidden coastal town. Located about 250 kilometers north of Perth, this community of around 2,000 people boasts some of Australia's most spectacular beaches. Crystal clear turquoise water meets bright white sand, while the nearby Jurien Bay Marine Park protects sea lions, dolphins, and vibrant marine life. Homes typically cost between $300,000 and $500,000, with beach-adjacent houses selling for around $350,000 to $450,000. Jurien Bay's location explains why it remains relatively under the radar. It is slightly too far from Perth for easy day trips, yet close enough that travelers driving north toward destinations like Kalbarri or Monkey often pass through without staying. Despite that oversight, the town offers solid services, a strong fishing industry, and spectacular natural surroundings. These 10 coastal towns demonstrate that Australia still holds places where natural beauty, affordability, and authentic community life coexist. While famous beaches have become crowded and expensive, these quieter destinations preserve the sense of space and tranquility that coastal living should provide. For those willing to look beyond heavily promoted tourist hotspots, Australia's shoreline still offers remarkable opportunities to enjoy life by the sea without spending millions.